Hey guys, welcome back to the session again. And in this session, we have to just revise the most important topic according to the backend development. In the previous session, we have to just focusing on implement AI features in my Learn to Do project. But in this session, we have to just focusing on according to the interview perspective. If you know that questions you are prepared for that interview. Okay. If you have not prepared, which means you need to focus on that thing. Okay. So I will just start this session in just few minutes. Currently, the timing is 4:38, and we have just started streaming in the 2 minutes. Okay. And if you have any question, let me know in the comment section regarding the last streaming session. And today's we have just basically focusing on the space repetition method where we have to just always doing the important thing that according to interview. Okay. According to interview, according to Merge stack. So here it is our core backend. ठीक है? There is a core backend concept that if you know that this concept you are good in backend. ठीक है? हमने we have also understand that basic DevOps and cloud hosting, junior system design. We have just focusing on that fundamental according to the interview perspective. ठीक है? So from today we have just revise all this concept. And by the way, we have in the previous section we have covered the JavaScript and React, and you can simply see that we have just doing it only a one time. And in the next streaming session we have to just also cover this, and just 1 hour once we have just finished almost 3 to 4 round of this session, that I think this is enough to understand the topic, because I will just like I will forget that whatever I've studied 4 days ago, because I don't revise it so much. Okay, because I'm learning a new topic as well along with that. So I thought, what if I'm just learning the same topic from the 2 to 3 times, so that I can understand that. Because when it's come to coding, it's can handle. But if according to the interview perspective, if you are in interview, they are mostly probably they can ask you a question, and you have to just answer verbally. ठीक है? तुम्हें verbally आंसर मेंशन करना पड़ेगा. ठीक है? So that's why I just choosing this method to revise the concept. Okay. And I just check the video quality. Is my video and my voice quality is clear to everyone? It's if it's clear, let me know in the comment section. And I will just start this streaming session in just few minutes. And let me just check the internet connection speed. By the way, we have just अब हमें शायद we can't facing any internet connection issue, because we almost fix all these things. Okay. So we'll simply go, and here it is, just like the download speeding is more than 200 Mbps, by the way, of 140, but still it's enough to just making smooth live streaming. Okay, so it's now everything is perfect. Okay, so I just moving to the concept that I have to just revise it. Okay, so here it is, and the topic is what is backend and client server architecture. Okay, this is the topic, and I simply go to my Chrome and ChatGPT. I have also defined that they will just give the answer according to that interview perspective. Okay, so what is a REST API? REST is what is app router? Because I will just like him also study a next year, so मैं उसका वो भी revise कर रहा हूँ. So that's why you can simply see that here is a REST API. Okay, we have covered the REST API in our day 17 session. ठीक है, this is day 19 revision session. बस I simply paste that and simply just send it. ठीक है, and it will be giving the answer on the basis of interview. ठीक है, so here is just like a backend is just like a backend that is run on a server side, and it will just show, it will be communicating and just connect with the database and giving the output on the basis of the client request, and that request will be handled by an API. Okay. देखो, here you simply see that the answer is the backend is a server side part of application. ठीक है, the backend is a server side part of application that handle business logic, database operation, authentication, and communication between front end and the database. Here is the simple answer of what is backend. ठीक है, and here you can simply see that the flow of key, whenever user log in on the website, it will request goes to the backend server, and backend check the database, and it will be just giving the output on the basis of the request that will be given by a user. Okay. So technology used in backend, you can simply see that a node is run on a V8 engine. Okay, that will be provided by a Google, and it is just like a runtime environment of JavaScript where we run our JavaScript code on the server side. And here is the express.js and express.js is the framework of Node.js, ठीक है? So we don't need to write a complex code of Node.js. We can simply create our server and handle all the operations, all the HTTP method using then express.js framework that will be provided by our Node.js, ठीक है? And Java is a good for a backend if you are just focusing on a in legacy project, you can using a Java Spring Boot for a backend, and Python we have using a Django, and in PHP we have just also handling a backend. Okay, this is the most popular technologies that is used in backend, but used in to build a backend. But in this session, we have to just, by the way, I am a one developer, and you are just watching this streaming. So I hope you are also a one developer. So we have just focusing on the concept related to the monster. Okay, so I will be just jumping to the Node.js and Express.js and MongoDB. Okay, what is you using for internet, bro? I have an Wi-Fi. I have using a Wi-Fi, and I just putting a router. That the internet speed is getting from router simply. It's an Airtel fiber. The speed will be getting from Airtel fiber. Okay. And okay, so now I just simply write down this answer in my Notion so we can just revise the next time. Okay. And in the next time, we have not focusing so much timing on that simple concept. Okay, because we have to just revise it first time. By the way, we have also studied whenever I just watching a lecture, but we have to just revise that concept two time or three times so that we can understand that because you can't be store that data in your memory if you just study one time. You need to revise it at least a three to four times, then you can be just understand that concept. Okay, concept तो पहले मैंने समझो, but you have to just need कि तुम्हारे दिमाग में बैठे, ठीक है? So I have just like कि the backend is a server side part of an application, ठीक है? So I simply go to specification method, and this is a common interview question. The backend is the server side. ठीक है? I simply write the and right now just I'm answer the question. No, no, no. I will just using a bullet point. ठीक है? Here is a bullet point and the topic is what backend. ठीक है? Backend क्या होता है? And is the backend is a server side part. ठीक है? Backend is the server side server side part of an application. ठीक है? Server side part of an application that handle business logic. ठीक है? that handle that handle business logic, database operation, database operation. ठीक है? You can simply say that कि backend exactly करता क्या? What the exactly backend do? They just the handling of business logic. Business logic में तुम्हारा logic क्या हो सकता है? If customer is purchasing so much from your website, so I think you have just giving a discount. So that discount will be showing in that user ID. ठीक है? And just उस user ID को तुम backend के through लॉजिक मेंटेन करते हो तो क्या होगा जस्ट लाइक कि लॉजिक ठीक है तुम अपना लॉजिक इंप्लीमेंट करते हो इट विल बी कम इन आल्सो अ लॉजिक तुम इसको लॉजिक बोल लो बिजनेस लॉजिक बोल लो both are same ठीक है and this is a database operation and the next is authentication and communication ठीक है authentication and document and communication between the front end and the database between the front end and the database because the thing is just like कि uh, front end does not directly access to the backend directly access to the database so we need backend ठीक है middleware हमें कहा था बाकी you can even don't go to the front end backend and then to the database. First thing you have just go to front end to back end, and between front end and back end you have using a middleware, and then you just go from back end to database. Okay, it just help to make the thing secure. Okay, and here it is. And now just moving to the next topic, and the next is what is client side architecture. Okay, client क्लाइंट सर्वर आर्किटेक्चर, ठीक है, क्लाइंट server architecture, okay. And now just write the answer of that question is a client server architecture is क्लाइंट सर्वर आर्किटेक्चर इज अ सिस्टम, ठीक है, ये क्या है, client server architecture is a system where the client send a request to the server and the server process the request and return a response, ठीक है, that's the simple answer, ठीक है। client server architecture क्या है, just like a structure that की a user just simply send a request to the server and server will process that request and give the output as a response to your, ठीक है, simple, it's not a very hard question, ठीक है। Bro, I can't use any mic. It's a default. It is an internal mic of a laptop. I can't using any another mic. Okay, I don't using the separate mic. I using a mic of that will be a internal mic of my laptop. Okay. By the way, how was the voice quality of that mic is? Is the voice quality is great or it sound impressive? Or should I just need to spend some money on mic? Okay, let me know in the comment. It is a system. It is the it is a system where the client send the request send a request to the server processes server. It's like what is in client server architecture? It is a system where the client send the request to the server and process the request. Okay, process the request and send the responses, ठीक है, send the responses. Here it is, ठीक है। Just like what is client server architecture, it is an architecture just like a client, a user just send a request to a server and server will give the response कि उसको पहले process करता है and they on the basis of the process they just giving the output to the main client, ठीक है, and you can simply show that output in the window screen, ठीक है। So here it is a basic thing what is a backend and what is a client server architecture, because if you are learning a merge stack you know that what is a backend that will be running in the backend of this website, but still you have exact answer that you need to know in the whenever a interviewer or anyone can just ask you, you have just giving the answer in a simple and structured manner, okay। So now let's understand that what is http and what is https, okay। I will just understand that it's good, okay, thanks Mayur, okay, thanks Mayur, I just like thanks for this just telling that the our voice quality of mic is great, okay। By the way, you are also a computer science student. Are you a computer science student or you are just watching for fun? If you are just computer science student, just let me know in the comment section. And the next question is what is HTTP? Okay. And here it is the cognitive interview, but we just understand that. I'm in interview and interviewer asked me a question and the question is what is HTTP and what is HTTPS? And here is my answer. HTTP is hypertext transfer protocol and HTTPS is like hyper transfer protocol security, and this is okay, just like I don't I will only know the full form and I just like I know one thing कि HTTP is not secure but HTTPS is secure. If HTTP is just secure, that's mean you can just send a cookies, you can pass the cookies, send the JW token into that HTTPS. If it's an HTTP, you can't send it. So that's it. Okay. By the way, it's that's giving an answer in in a structured manner. Okay. So we just process it. Okay. You can simply said that it will be your start was correct, but the explanation was incomplete. Okay. And I totally agree. I don't give the full answer of that answer. Okay. And here you can simply see that HTTP. It is a protocol used for communication between client and a server. ठीक है, सिंपल आंसर था, मुझे पता भी था बट काफी टाइम से पढ़ा नहीं था तो आई डोंट रिमेम्बर एंड जस्ट ट्राई माय बेस्ट एंड इट्स लाइक अ वेरी बैड रिस्पॉन्स, ठीक है, आंसर तो बड़ा बेकार था। एंड इट्स लाइक की फुल फॉर्म बहुत इजी है, आई विल नॉट राइटिंग अ फुल फॉर्म, दे जस्ट लाइक कि व्हेनेवर आई जस्ट putting and read that concept. That's HTTP can just force me to just revise the full form. Okay, it is a protocol used for communication between. Okay, what is an HTTP? HTTP. It is a protocol. ठीक है? It is a protocol. ठीक है? It is a protocol used for communication. ठीक है? Used for communication between communication between a client. It's a browser client and a browser and a server on the web. ठीक है? HTTP क्या है? It is a protocol used for communication between a client browser and a server on the web. ठीक है? It is used to transfer data. ठीक है? ये क्या करता है? It is used to transfer. ठीक है? It is used to transfer data such as HTML page, image, and API response. ठीक है? It is used to transfer. It is used to transfer the HTML, image, and API response. ठीक है? It is used for transfer the HTML pages, images, and API response. ठीक है? HTML pages, images, ठीक है? HTML pages, image, and API response. ठीक है? And this is a basic. And if you are a computer science student, you need to know that what is an HTTP is. ठीक है? Simple. If you have know that, let me know in the comment section. Okay? Just let me know in the comment section if you already know what is an HTTP is. ठीक है? By the way, I think we have don't facing any internet connection issues, no? By the way, I just first thing I just need to check the voice quality. HTTP is ठीक है simple. If you have know that, let me know in the comment section. Okay. Okay. So the voice is loud and it is enough to understand that. Okay. So I just simply go to HTTP and let's understand that what is HTTPS. ठीक है. Both are. It is also used to just communication between a browser and a web, but the major difference is it is insecure. ठीक है. Is a secure version. ठीक है. It is a HTTP क्या है? HTTPS. It is the secure version it is a secure version of it is a secure version of HTTP. ठीक है. It is a secure version of HTTP. And the next is just like it uses SSL and T जस्ट लाइक कि थोड़ा सेटअप कर लो एक सेकंड ठीक है and it's a secure version of it uses SSL and TLC ठीक है it is using SSL and TLS ठीक है by the way what is the full form of SSL and TLS ठीक है मुझे थोड़ा ये समझना पड़ेगा फर्स्ट थिंग नो SSL ठीक है by the way what is the full form of SSH SSL and TLS SSL ठीक है SSL and TLS ठीक है सिक ठीक है सिक्योर सॉकेट लेयर एंड ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर सिक्योरिटी ठीक है TLS इज अ ट्रांसपोर्ट लेयर सिक्योरिटी एंड SSL इज अ सिक्योर सॉकेट लेयर ठीक है SSL स्टैंड फॉर सिक्योर सॉकेट्स लेयर ठीक है सॉकेट को सिक्योर करने के लिए यू दैट यूजिंग SSL and TLC for transport layer security okay here it is ठीक है now that this topic is not completed by the way the answer is where is the complete answer is it is encryption to protect the data ठीक है it uses ठीक है इंस्क्रिप्शन, ठीक है, इंस्क्रिप्शन टू प्रोटेक्ट द डेटा, ठीक है, डेटा प्रोटेक्ट द डेटा ट्रांसफर्ड बिटवीन, ठीक है, ट्रांसफर ट्रांसफर्ड बिटवीन द क्लाइंट, ठीक है, ट्रांसफर the protect the data transfer between the client and a server, between the client and the server. Okay, here it is the full answer. And just read again and understand that what is the, okay, HTTP is just like a secure version of HTTP and it uses a SSL. Okay, SSL is a security layer, na session security layer. I see it is an, okay, secure socket layer. Okay, it is like a SSL is just like a secure socket layer and TLSS is like a for a transport layer session. ठीक है, transport layer security. ठीक है, transport layer security, not a session. So it's completely and HTTP is also. And now just understand that what is REST and what is SOAP. ठीक है, just go to there and what is REST and ठीक है, इतना मुझे पता है REST की फुल फॉर्म होती है representation transport, I think representation transport, and I don't know any idea about also. So let's understand that what is an exactly it is. Okay, so I simply click on send and let's understand that what is the output I can just get from that answer. ठीक है, भाई आज क्या कर रहा है, चार्जर लगा, कोडर गाय भाई, तुम रात चाहते हो बताते हो कि चलो, चलो कर लिया, ऑन कर लिया, ठीक है, लगा लिया। आज बैकएंड रिवाइज कर रहे हैं, आज बैकएंड रिवाइज कर रहे हैं थोड़ा, ठीक है, वी आर जस्ट फोकसिंग ऑन अंडरस्टैंड द बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ बैकएंड, ठीक है, एंड द नेक्स्ट इज व्हाट इज एन रेस्ट, ठीक है, हियर इज द व्हाट इज एग्जैक्टली अ रेस्ट इज, ठीक है, REST representation state transfer, ठीक है, state transfer, okay, and is an architectural style used to design web services. It allow communication between client and server using standard HTTP method. ठीक है, I think we have just also studied in the previous कि REST API था, ठीक है, and I think we have also mentioned the definition of REST API in there. And where is okay, here is the REST API representation is the architecture style used for communication between a client and a server using HTTP. ठीक है. So by the way, you know that कि HTTP request क्या होता है? I just simply I think I need to write it again because the definition is looks same, but what it's good now if we have just write it again. The more we have write, the more chances we will understand. ठीक है. So what is an REST? ठीक है. Representation. ठीक है. Represent representation, state transfer, ठीक है, state transfer, and it is used, ठीक है, it is used, it is an architectural style, ठीक है, it is an it is an architectural, it is an architectural style, mhm, to design web services, ठीक है, used to design web services. It is an architectural style used to design a web services and it allow communication, ठीक है, it allow communication between between client and server, ठीक है, between client and server using standard using standard HTTP method, ठीक है, methods like get method used to get the data from the database, and post method is just used to send the data to a database, and the next is delete, delete method is just used to delete the existing data from the database, and the next is also, I think, we have to using there, and I think we have using a patch and post. uh, I think a put method. Take a put method is just used to change the data of existing data. ठीक है, we are just focus using a put method to change the data. ठीक है, existing data पे कुछ updation करनी है, so we using a put, and we have using a patch. We if we have to just change a partial data. ठीक है, but majorly we have to just focus on these four method, ठीक है, four HTTP method that can handle almost everything, ठीक है, so you don't need to focusing on the rest of these methods, ठीक है, if you know how to use a get method, a post method, a delete method, or a put method, you know that good in, जो तुम्हें पता है कि एग्जैक्टली दिस मेथड इज इनफ, ठीक है, यू कैन सिंपली से दैट fetch data, create data, put is update data and remove, ठीक है, एंड द नेक्स्ट इज a soap, simple object access protocol, ठीक है, simple project access control, ठीक है, so I just simply go to there and soap, ठीक है, the next is what is a soap, ठीक है, and the definition of soap is a simple object access protocol, ठीक है, a simple object access, ठीक है, ए डबल सी एक्सेस protocol, ठीक है, here it is, and the next is just like the definition of key, it is a protocol used for exchange structured information between application, it uses XML format for sending message, so is more strict and secure but also heavier and slower, ठीक है, so this is it is a protocol used for exchange, ठीक है, it is a protocol used for, it is a protocol used for used for protocol used for exchange structured structured information between client and server, ठीक है, between client and server, between, okay, I will just, I think, reading another definition, ठीक है, structured information between application, ठीक है, between application and it uses, ठीक है, application and it uses XML format, ठीक है, it uses XML. What is XML format to send data? Is anybody who's know what is the full form of XML? What is the full form of XML in the React? By the way, if you are learning a React, you also know the what is the full form of XML. If you know the full form of XML, let me know in the comment. Okay, XML. So it uses XML format to send data. Okay, this will be completed. And now just moving to the topic, and you will just need to कि क्या होता है, it is an REST architecture style protocol, it's a lightweight, it's heavy, uses JSON XML, uses XML only, faster, slower, ठीक है, so that's why we're using a REST API, because it is faster, it's architecture style, using a lightweight, most used in modern API, so that's why in the next we have to just focusing on learning a REST API, because we have to just focusing on that, that is actually matter, because SOAP is very यूजेस इन एंटरप्राइजेस सिस्टम, ठीक है, एंड वी हैव जस्ट लाइक कि मॉडर्न, तो हम रेस्ट एपीआई पे फोकस करेंगे मोस्ट, ठीक है, सो द मोस्ट, सो रेस्ट, वी आल्सो अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज रेस्ट एपीआई एंड व्हाट इज अ सोप, ठीक है, एंड रेस्ट की फुल फॉर्म थी रिप्रेजेंटेशनल स्टेट ट्रांसफर, एंड सोप की थी क्या था, सिंपल, ओके, इट्स अ सिंपल ऑब्जेक्ट एक्सेस प्रोटोकॉल, ठीक है, these twos are completed, and now just moving to the notion, and rest of is completed, and now just what is the stateless and stateful, ठीक है, let me just understand that what is stateful and what is stateless in the React JS. ठीक है? So I simply go to there, and what is stateless and what is stateful in backend. What is stateful in backend? ठीक है? A stateless system is a system where the ठीक है, just like the read a stateless system where the server does not store any information about previous request. Each request from the client is treated as a completely new request. ठीक है, that's mean the server doesn't remember the user. Every request must contain all necessary information. Take example, REST API are stateless. ठीक है, it's a stateless example, get user authorization. If the client send another request, it must read the token again because the server does not remember the previous result. Okay? And stateful system is a system where the server remember the previous interaction or session information of a client. That's mean the server store client data or session. That's mean whenever using go to the route, stateful is just store the data and taking the information of a client. But when it's come to stateless, it will be not tracking and it will be not storing the information in any there. Okay, so it's simple. And here's the answer. The stateless means the server does not store any client information. Okay, stateless means okay, here is the notion. Okay, stateless means okay, state stateless versus stateful. Take a stateless versus stateful. And let me understand that what is stateless and stateful. Stateless and stateless means the server. Stateless means the stateless means the server does not store. ठीक है, does not store any client information. Any client information. ठीक है, any client information request. ठीक है, not for any client information. अरे क्या हो रहा है ये information. ठीक है, information. Okay, it is an any client information between between request and each request is independent. ठीक है, and each request is each request is independent. ठीक है, each request is independent. Stateful means the server store client state. ठीक है, stateful means ठीक है, stateful means server the server store client data और session data. ठीक है, store the server store client data और server session server store client server. That means server stores client state. ठीक है, server store client state. ठीक है, client state और session data और session data remember. ठीक है, और session data remember previous instruction. ठीक है, remember previous instruction. ठीक है, remember previous instruction, here it is, ठीक है, and now it will be completed, ठीक है, and I will just read the again what is stateless and what is stateful, ठीक है. Stateless means the server does not store any client information between request and each request is independent, ठीक है. And stateful means the server store client state or session data remember previous instruction, ठीक है. Simple that's it. And this will be also completed. And next is what is HTTP request response cycle, ठीक है. HTTP request and response cycle, they will just return the callbacks as a request and response. So by the way, we have just also understand that what is hello DSS gamer bro. Hello, hello. Okay, HTTP ठीक है. HTTP आज स्ट्रीमिंग में थोड़ा लेट हो गया वैसे. HTTP request response lifecycle. What is HTTP request response lifecycle? सॉरी लेट हो गया. अरे इट्स ओके ब्रो. आज ऐसे ही रिवीजन कर रहे हैं. बाय द वे वो बाय द वे तुम्हारी मर्ज स्टैक की जर्नी कैसे चल रही है? इज योर मर्ज स्टैक कंप्लीटेड? मर्ज स्टैक कैसे चल रही है ब्रो? इज योर मर्ज स्टैक कंप्लीटेड? कितना कर लिया मर्ज स्टैक में? The HTTP request response lifecycle is the process in which a client browser send a request to a server and the server process that is ticket. बाय द वे जो हमने समझा था कि व्हाट इज एचटीटीपी क्या होता है ना, तो उसी की तरीके से कि क्लाइंट साइड आर्किटेक्चर, हाउ द क्लाइंट साइड आर्किटेक्चर इज वर्क, एंड दिस इज अ सिंपल डेफिनेशन. द एचटीटीपी रिक्वेस्ट रिस्पांस लाइफ साइकिल इज अ प्रोसेस, ठीक है, इट इज अ प्रोसेस इन विच, ठीक है, आई विल सिंपली राइट द आंसर, इट इज अ प्रोसेस, ठीक है, इट इज अ प्रोसेस, ठीक है, इट्स अ कॉपी एंड जस्ट सिंपली फुल स्टॉप एंड कंप्लीट दैट एंड एंटर, ठीक है, इट इज एन इज एनीथिंग. भाई एक के हो गया है, पार्टी तो बनती है. हाँ पार्टी तो बनती है ब्रो, पार्टी तो बनेगी. इस साल के एंड तक 10,000 हो गए तो पार्टी होगी, पार्टी. I will be just starting this YouTube channel for just learn in public and I never thought कि 1,000 सब्सक्राइबर भी हो जाएंगे by the way, लेकिन हो गए. Thanks for by the way, thanks again. But I will just like कि I will just moving to the getting a job or just I need to becoming a full-time content creator. बाकी 1,000 सब्सक्राइबर को ज्यादा नहीं है. I will still don't make any money from the YouTube, but does it a good thing कि मुझे I just need to focusing on a job or focusing on YouTube channel, which is the best career option, by the way. The HTTP request response. ठीक है. It is it is the process in which it is the process in it is a process in which a client, ठीक है. I know that what is a client if we just mentioning the browser, I know the client, and send a request, ठीक है, send a request to the server and request to the server process the request process the request and then send a response back and then send the response response back again to the client. Okay, here it is. So this is an HTTP request response lifecycle. What is an HTTP request lifecycle? It is the process in which a client send a request to the server, process the request and then send the response back again to the client. ठीक है, ये होता है हमारा client side client HTTP request response life cycle. ठीक है, it is an also a, like a client server architecture बोलो, because in client server architecture it is an also just like कि a user simply send a request to the server, and it will be just simply process the request and give the output to the client. Okay, on the basis of which request they just process. First thing they will just process that request and then give the output. The direct output. Okay, that's it. And here this is also completed. Okay, and I think we have just completed this also. Development का हम बाद में करेंगे. बाकी tools and best practice कर लिया था. API integration and React Advanced I have just also completed in the previous. I think I just forget to tick mark right. ठीक है. And now just moving to the topic of what is the web and network fundamental. ठीक है. यहाँ पे कुछ ज्यादा ही टॉपिक्स है बाय द वे, काफी ज्यादा टॉपिक्स है. इट्स जस्ट लाइक कि व्हाट इज अ वेब एंड नेटवर्क फंडामेंटल. ठीक है. वेब एंड नेटवर्क फंडामेंटल क्या होते हैं उसके लिए दिस इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक. इफ यू नो दिस टॉपिक यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दैट इंटरव्यू. दैट्स इट. ठीक है. इफ यू नो दैट आंसर ऑफ दैट क्वेश्चन यू आर आई थिंक प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर दैट इंटरव्यू बाय द वे. ठीक है. एंड जस्ट आई थिंक यू कैन जस्ट सिंपली व्यू सी दैट स्क्रीन. ठीक है. एंड लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन कि मैं एक काम करता हूँ. फर्स्ट थिंग सिंपली राइट डाउन. ठीक है. वन. ठीक है. टू एंड थ्री. फोर. ठीक है. You will just thought ki why I just write down a serial number, and I will just wait a few seconds and I will just explain you why I am writing the serial number. ठीक है. The 10 11. ठीक है. And here is it 12. ठीक है. And now let me know in the comment section how many questions do you know in from that notion. ठीक है. इस notion template में से if you are just watching this session and currently I just see that viewers is 6 or 7, just like yeah, we'll refresh it again. And I think the viewer is six viewers is currently watching this streaming. And just let me know. Okay, right now 7. So let me know in the comment section how many topic do you know from that. Okay, we have write down what is the backend development and Node.js, what is server and HTTP, what is HTTP method and routing, how to create server using Node.js and Express.js, what is port, listen क्या होता है, what is query, what is params, what is CSR, SSR, what is API and REST API, DNS working, IP address port, TCP, UDP, browser or server flow, and 12 status code. Do you know that? How many much you know that from that topic? Okay, we have a 12 concept in a web and network framework. And let me know in the comment section using the serial number how much the answer you know. Okay, from that notes. Let me know in the comment section. By the way, sevens are watching. If you are just like ki, I will not just I think just suppose I will forcing you. Okay, I will just forcing you to just let me know ki how much topics do you know from that. कितने टॉपिक्स आते हैं आपको? I will be just like कि मैं थोड़ा बोल बोल के भी थक चुका हूँ. So I will just waiting a 2 to 3 minutes and just let me know in the comment section how many topics do you know from that. ठीक है. I will just simply like comment down topics you know from that. Okay. DSSS G gamer, great bro, great. You just change your profile picture right now. Seriously. In the previous stream session, your is like the icon is blue, and right now, ठीक है. So I will just open the okay. So you just tell me that one, what is backend development in Node.js? Okay, you know the first, what is server and HTTP, and 7 is what is API and REST API. Okay, great. And 10 is what is TCP and UDP. Okay, I think you know the full form. Okay, TCP, transfer control protocol, and UDP, user diagram protocol. Okay, so you know only five topics from out of 12. Okay, you know the five topics out of 12. Okay, is anybody who's already know more than five? By the way, five is just like कि you know the half of the concept. ठीक है, but still it's not it's like the average. ठीक है, ठीक ठाक है. एंड मुझे भी आधी चीज आधे से ज्यादा आती है बाय द वे. ठीक है, मैं थोड़ा बताऊंगा तुम्हें बाय द वे. एंड इफ एनीबॉडी हु जस्ट लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. एंड इफ यू हैव नो मैंने अपना लोगो चेंज किया है। ओके, यू आर जस्ट चेंजिंग। बाय द वे, यू आर अ गेमर, यू आर डूइंग अ स्ट्रीमिंग, आर यू डूइंग स्ट्रीमिंग? अभी बहुत पढ़ लिया, अभी पूरा सेशन खत्म कर लिया, थोड़ा अभी बातें करते हैं। सो यू आर जस्ट लाइक कि यू हैव अ गेमिंग चैनल, सो डू यू डूइंग अ स्ट्रीमिंग और एनीथिंग लाइक? जस्ट गिव मी एन आंसर जस्ट बिफोर दैट, लाइक आई चेक समथिंग बिकॉज़ आई जस्ट लाइक कि मुझे कुछ देखना भी था। चलो इस पे देख लेता हूँ, ठीक है? एंड बताना मुझे एक बार कि क्या-क्या तुम्हें टॉपिक आते हैं। ये महीने की स्टार्टिंग काफ़ी बेकार गई है यार। सब्सक्राइबर हो गए वो अच्छी बात है, लेकिन जस्ट लाइक कि कोई भी मतलब रिज्यूमे शॉर्टलिस्ट नहीं हो रहा। आई एम टेलिंग यू जस्ट लाइक कि रिज्यूमे शॉर्टलिस्ट नहीं हो रही काफ़ी कंपनीज में। ओके, ठीक है। प्रॉब्लम है, प्रॉब्लम तो आएगी लाइफ में, प्रॉब्लम कभी खत्म नहीं होगी, तो जस्ट लाइक कि लगे रहो, ठीक है? प्रॉब्लम वाला सीन मत रखना, ठीक है? आती जाती रहती है प्रॉब्लम तो। स्ट्रीमिंग अगर इफ यू आर जस्ट टारगेटिंग कि मुझे गेमर बनना है, ठीक है? तो जस्ट फोकसिंग ऑन की स्ट्रीमिंग में करोगे, करते रहो करो मतलब, ठीक है? थोड़ा बहुत अच्छी चीज़ है। ये गेमिंग गेमर्स का मतलब करियर भी बढ़िया है अगर बन गए तो, क्योंकि मौज मस्ती वाली लाइफ है, गेम खेलो बस, चलने का बात है, एक बार चल गया तो चाँद तक, वरना ठीक है। सो जस्ट लाइक कि डीएसएस गेमर, ठीक है? दे आर ऑल्सो दिस, आई थिंक ओनली डीएसएस gamer is just giving the response कि they know the topic, ठीक है? So I just moving to and just revise the concept, ठीक है? And how to create space repetition, ठीक है? If you want कि how to create a space repetition, so you just need to go on the Notion, and there is so many templates or free templates. You can simply go and space repetition template को simply add करो, and whenever you just study anything, you just simply write down in the topics. Simple, ठीक है? एंड इफ यू वांट कि इसको कैसे एक्सेस करना है, ठीक है, क्या करना है, तो मैं उसके लिए एक वीडियो भी बना दूंगा कि तुम अपने प्रोजेक्ट को स्पेस रिपीटेशन में कैसे सेटअप कर सकते हो। इफ यू वांट कि आई कैन क्रिएटिंग अ सेपरेट वीडियो हाउ टू सेट अप अ स्पेस रिपीटेशन, लेट मी नो इन द कमेंट सेक्शन। इफ 1 to 2 comment is getting from that video or any problem, I will be just creating a separate video how to set up a space repetition in, if you're learning anything, so I will just give a basic tutorial, ठीक है, how to set up a space repetition, ठीक है? If you have, just let me know in the comment. I can create for if you actually need it. ठीक है? And let's just okay, DSS gamer. Let me just you have just know the topic of 1 to 7 10, and let's just finish the entire topics that you don't know. ठीक है? And most of them probably I will be also know. I almost I know everything by the way. क्योंकि what is an backend? Backend is just like we have still अभी हमने खुद ही पढ़ा था कि what is backend. And the Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment that we have just used to run a client server architecture, ठीक है? क्लाइंट सर्वर पे रन होता है, सर्वर साइड पे, ओके? एंड सर्वर क्या पता है? सर्वर वी हैव जस्ट क्रिएटिंग अ सर्वर यूजिंग अ Node.js, Express.js। HTTP क्या होता है? HTTP इट्स लाइक कि वी हैव जस्ट यूजिंग HTTP to just retrieve the data of like HTML or a image or API रिक्वेस्ट को हैंडल करता है HTTP। एंड राउटिंग क्या होता है? राउटिंग जस्ट लाइक कि हाउ योर वेब पेजिंग लोड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ राउटिंग। राउटिंग मतलब कि तुम्हारा पेज का एड्रेस क्या है, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ कि तुम अगर होम पेज पे जाना चाहते हो तो तुम्हारा राउटिंग का एड्रेस क्या है, ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ राउटिंग का क्या है। एंड सर्वर को क्रिएट करने यूजिंग नेट नोड जेएस एंड एक्सप्रेस जेएस, ये चीजें आ गई। सो आई थिंक वी हैव टू जस्ट क्रिएटिंग अ सर्वर, ठीक है? एक्सप्रेस जैसे एक सर्वर भी क्रिएट करेंगे। एंड पोर्ट इज जस्ट लाइक अ पोर्ट इज from which port number you want to run your server, and listen is a built-in function that will be given by Express.js to run a server on specific port. Query is just used to just like कि हम सर्वर साइड पे तो जो भी डेटा आया उसको हम लेने के लिए भी हम यूजिंग अ क्वेरी, ठीक है। एंड पैरम्स की व्हाट हैव अ यूजर राइट इन द on a client server body, ठीक है। So that is a params, and what is CSR and SSR, ठीक है। I don't know idea of what is a CSR or SSR, तो इसका थोड़ा पढ़ेंगे। And I know that what is an API, REST API। I think this is repeated again, ठीक है। We have just understand that API REST इधर पढ़ लिया था, REST API भी पढ़ ही लिया था। बोथ आर जस्ट लाइक सेम थिंग, तो क्यों यार, मतलब एक चीज बार बार कितनी बार। इसमें भी पढ़ लिया था, अभी एपीआई इंटीग्रेशन में तीसरी बार एपीआई का क्वेश्चन कॉन्सेप्ट आ गया। बिकॉज बाय द वे इट्स ऑल्सो एन इम्पोर्टेंट, ठीक है। And DNS or domain name system working, because it will be, you know, that computer don't understand the alphabetical and English in this subject, so they're just using running a 0 and 1. So a DNS working is a just like key. Whenever you have just go to that your website, and the website just like www.google.com, it will be just looking like, so you can just understand that what will be written. But in computer language, it will be written into a 0 1 using a DNS, and that is a domain name system. Okay, and IP address and port address is just like कि पोर्ट तो हमारा वही होता है कि फ्रॉम विच पोर्ट नंबर आवर सर्वर रन, आईपी एड्रेस, ठीक है। टीसीपी का थोड़ा देखेंगे अच्छे से, बिकॉज आई विल बी जस्ट लाइक कि पता है, थोड़ा बहुत रिवाइज करना पड़ेगा। ब्राउजर सर्वर फ्लो एंड स्टेटस कोड से जस्ट लाइक कि वेन एवर वी हैव जस्ट रिट्राइव द डेटा, सेंड, क्रिएट डेटा, डिलीट डेटा, अपडेट डेटा, मूव डेटा और चेंज डेटा, एनीथिंग वी हैव जस्ट डूइंग इट, that will be just a status code। Suppose like कि whenever you created account, it will be a 201, ठीक है। whenever you created a new account, and whenever you have just like key, you have to get that data from a database, ठीक है। So when you have just need to get data, ठीक है, so at that time you using 200, whether 20, I think 200 for just retrieve the data from this server। So with then we have using a 200 status code, and that's like ठीक है 12 है बाकी, but we have status code है, कुछ दो चार चीजें होती है जो हमें समझने की जरूरत होती है। If you understand that, it's enough, ठीक है। That's enough। Okay, तो should I just start this session? मतलब नेक्स्ट राउंड में करें बाकी। ये टॉपिक तो ज्यादा है यार, इसको मैं अभी भी चाहूँ तो कर सकता हूँ, ठीक है। व्हाट इज अ बैकएंड डेवलपमेंट एंड नोड जेएस। देखो, बैकएंड एंड नोड जेएस डेवलपमेंट है, इसको हम यहाँ पे पहले ही खत्म कर चुके हैं, आई थिंक, ठीक है। यहाँ पे हमने बैकएंड पढ़ा था, नोड जेएस के बारे में नहीं पढ़ा था, ठीक है। सो लेट मी जस्ट गो टू दी my Chrome and let me just finish some few questions, ठीक है, and then the rest of topic we have to covering tomorrow। But still like कि अभी have कि the streaming session is just like still 1 hour अभी हुआ नहीं है, and I just targeting for one, after the 1 hour I will just finish that streaming, ठीक है। So I just simply go to that and creating a just giving the answer of what is backend development, ठीक है। So I simply go to my Chrome and I just like understand a question। The question is what is backend development and what is Node.js? And here is my answer. ठीक है, backend development means application will be running on server side. A user can't see, and a backend will be focusing on business logic or API call, and that's it. Okay, that's the backend. And when it's come to Node.js, Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment that will be run on V8 engine that will be provided by Google. And Node.js is just used to creating a server using a JavaScript. Okay, and I think I will be just giving not so correct answer, but still it's good. Okay, I know that concept, and they just simply make it clear and understandable. So I can, so you can understand it, because I know that most of the you have don't understand topic. Okay, but I will be trying my best. So ठीक है, run on server side you can't see it, handle business logic and API, ठीक है, I am correct, ठीक है। but ठीक है, your answer is actually quite good, especially the Node.js part, but for interview you just need to make it clear, structured and confident, ठीक है। backend, ठीक है, backend development refer to server side part, ठीक है, server side part of web application that handle business logic, database, authentication, ठीक है, it process client, ठीक है। and Node.js is JavaScript runtime environment, ठीक है, that allow JavaScript to run on server side. It is built on Google V8 engine and it is commonly used to build scalable backend application and APIs, ठीक है। Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. So हम क्या करते हैं? We have to just focusing on ठीक है। Backend development we have also revised. So now we have to just simply write down what is our Node.js. ठीक है, क्योंकि जो चीज हमें पढ़ रखी है उसको दोबारा लिखने का I think it's don't creating a good sense. So creating a bullet point, and in the bullet point we have simply write down. You can just simply enter, so it's not getting okay. And what is a Node.js? ठीक है, Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment. ठीक है, Node.js is a JavaScript runtime environment that allow that allow that allow JavaScript to to run on the server side. ठीक है, run on the server side. In the server side, it is built on it is built on Google V8 engine, and it is commonly used to build scalable backend application and API. ठीक है, here is the simple answer of a Node.js. ठीक है, by the way Node.js का मतलब सर्वर के साथ बनाना होता है, वो कोडिंग पार्ट ज्यादा मजेदार है. ठीक है, so now this topic is also completed. ठीक है, we just simply write down this. And what is a server and HTTP सर्वर का हमें बताइए कि सर्वर क्या होता है, बताओ यार. अब सर्वर का यार अभी पढ़ा था शायद, आई थिंक पीछे में ही पढ़ा था. ठीक है, सर्वर का ही पढ़ा था, क्लाइंट सर्वर आर्किटेक्चर पढ़ा था. ठीक है, सो लेट मी स्टार्ट कि सर्वर जो है वो भी बैकएंड का ही आता है, कि सर्वर है जो रन ऑन अ बैकएंड. ठीक है, सर्वर इज जस्ट हैंडलिंग कस्टमर रिक्वेस्ट. ठीक है, अ क्लाइंट रिक्वेस्ट, एंड गिव द सिंपली टेकिंग अ रिक्वेस्ट, प्रोसेस इट एंड गिविंग द आउटपुट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ रिक्वेस्ट. ठीक है, सो राइट नाउ जस्ट लाइक कि एक काम करते हैं. ठीक है, 57 हो चुके हैं, कंप्लीट दैट टॉपिक, एंड आई विल बी जस्ट मूविंग टू द नेक्स्ट टुमारो. ठीक है, सो आई जस्ट सिंपली गो टू दैट देयर. Chrome is here, and I just simply go to this Chrome and just understand that what is a server. Okay. Now interviewer asked me a question. What is server? Okay. And here just like, okay, don't confuse again. Now interviewer asked me a question is what is server? And here is my answer. A server is used to handle a client request and process it and give the response on the basis of request. ठीक है, and I know that the answer is incomplete, but still it's understandable. हम्म, ठीक है, देखो मेरा आंसर करेक्ट है, फिर भी वो कह रहा है कि बेटर हो सकता है. ठीक है, सर्वर इज यूज टू हैंडल क्लाइंट रिक्वेस्ट एंड प्रोसेस इट. ठीक है, गुड पॉइंट. सो कंसेप्ट, यू आर राइट. ठीक है, अ सर्वर इज अ सिस्टम और अ सॉफ्टवेयर. ठीक है, अ सर्वर इज अ सिस्टम और अ सर्वर इज अ सिस्टम और अ सॉफ्टवेयर. ठीक है, अ सर्वर इज अ सिस्टम और अ सॉफ्टवेयर. ठीक है, सिस्टम और सॉफ्टवेयर that receive a receive a request from the client. ठीक है, from the client. ठीक है, request from the client, process those requests. ठीक है, process those requests and send response. ठीक है, and send send response back to the client over the network, over the network. Okay, here it is simple, ठीक है. And we have understand that what is server and HTTP का हमने last में पढ़ लिया था, तो we don't need to focusing on HTTP again, because if we have to just focusing on same thing again and again, it will be just creating a time. I know that repetition is good thing, but what if we have just focusing on a structured manner? If we have just doing the same time, following the same thing, this doesn't make the good sense. So that's why I will be not write the answer of HTTP again. ठीक है? So for today's, that's enough. ठीक है? And from the tomorrow. By the way, why you just remove the comment? By the way, I just read it. I will not ratta nahi marra, because I will understand that code and concept. But I will be just read it again, because according to interview perspective, they just give me that ask the question and you know the answer in structured manner. So that's why I'm just revising the concept. I know that how to creating a server, how to connect codes, how to handle codes merge. ठीक है? And server architecture क्या होता है, HTTP क्या होता है, I will almost know that everything, but I will be just focusing on understanding, ठीक है? So that's why I'm using this method, ठीक है? And for the today's, that's enough. And on tomorrow, we have to just revise the rest of topic that will be not completed. And tomorrow we have to just focusing on go to the coding part. So for today, that's it enough. And I will be just simply close this streaming session. And thanks for watching that streaming session. Keep doing coding and just give your best. ठीक है? So आज के लिए इतना. And if you just have any question, let me know in the comment section and just connect me on the LinkedIn. Or if you have just any question, join the Discord server and ask it. ठीक है? Because we have just tried to build a good community, so where everyone can just ask the question and fix their issue. ठीक है? So make sure you can just join the Discord server. तब तक के लिए keep doing and just बढ़िया. ठीक है?